everyone, welcome to WASA Distance Education. This is PLAR English and I'm Andrea. This is the second last class of our last term and today we're talking about how to write a resume on a computer using a Microsoft Word template. So these instructions are step-by-step instructions for assignment 27, write a resume. So before we start, I'd just like to show you how to get to my Write a Resume section on my website and how to find these step-by-step instructions. Um, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the video and then I'll show you the step, right? And so I'll do that. There's 8 steps where you are getting your template and then getting it ready to be filled in. And then the last step where you actually fill in the template, we will go through that in class together. And then anybody who was not able to attend class today, there is a video for step 9 on my website, and also in the notes after today's class, I will share a picture of the final example of a resume. So again, today we're going through an example of a resume. You would, of course, create a resume with your own information, right? But today's example will show you how to find a template. And I mean, you could use the same template if you wanted, right? Just make sure that all of the information that you have in your resume is your information. I should also point out that for assignment 27, you are allowed to make up information if you need to. So let's say you only have, say, 1 work experience. You could add 2 on so that you get full marks for the assignment and you could make the other 2 up, right? So there's certain requirements for the assignment, and as we go through today, you'll see exactly what they are because my example will show you exactly what you would need to do to get a perfect mark for assignment 27. So again, you are allowed to make up information, but I just want to stress that in real life, you would never make up any information on your resume, right? We're just talking about for assignment 27, if you need to make something up so that you fulfill the requirements of the assignment, then it's okay. All right, so let me just go online. I'll just show you how you would get to my website. So you'd go to acolwasa.wordpress.com. Obviously, I've been there before, so I'll just press enter. And there's a whole bunch of stuff on my website. I don't want to go through it all. I just want to show you that you're looking for this section here under more resources, specifically write a resume. So you click on it here, and then you can see that it tells you what this is all about. And I'm just going to click here just to show you that maybe all you want to do is look at the videos, right? So you could just play this, right? And you can watch them. And we will look at all but one. We'll look at all of the videos except for the very last one, which just shows you how to fill it in, right? Because of course we're going to fill it in today. And then the notes, when you're looking at your in-class notes, you should notice that they look very similar to this. And the reason why there are, well, I think something like 35 pages of in-class notes. The reason for that is just in case anybody is only able to listen to today's class, you know, for anyone that might be just listening and can't watch it, if you had a copy of the in-class notes, if you had printed those off, then you could still follow along with what I'm saying by looking at the pictures. Okay. So that's the section on my website. And then, you know, you can hit next, you can hit see step 1, you can even click here to see the first step. I'll just hit next just so that you can see how it works, right? Then you see the video, and if you scroll down, you can see the picture to go with the video, and then you just keep going. You go through each step, right? And that's exactly what we're going to do today in class, except the only difference is that I'm not showing you the videos from my website, and that's just because of the type of program that we're using for today's recording requires me to use a different file type for the video that I show you in order for the video to come out clearly. So because of the file type that I need to use for today's recording, it was easier for me to embed those videos in this document here, in this notebook document for you. Okay, so, but I did want to show you what my website looks like. All right, so let's take a look now at the first step. And then after I show you the video, like I said, I will show you how to actually do it in class. All right, so here's the first step. How to write a resume. Step 1, choose a template. Open Microsoft Word. Type Modern Resume CV. Click the search icon or press enter. Double click to open the resume. Okay, so you can see super quick instructions, right? So we're going to open up Microsoft Word, and you notice I don't happen to have it on my desktop here, and that's okay. I'm going to hit the start button. Now, depending on where you are, you might even have it in this list here, but I don't even have it in here. So no problem. I'm just going to type in Microsoft, if I could spell it, Microsoft Word. All right. Now it's not coming up. That's interesting. Okay, let me try something else here. I'll open up my resume example. It's interesting that I couldn't search for it on my computer, but that's okay. But you should be able to search for it on your computer. It could be on your desktop. It could be here. I'm surprised. Microsoft. Huh. That's okay. It should come up this way. I'm not sure why it's not. Oh, you never know what 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 might come up. So I'm just going to start a new document here. All right. So you would have opened up Word, and Word would open up, and you would search for a template here. All right. So I'm searching for Modern Resume CV. Okay, and you just hit the search button or you press enter. So I'll just hit the search button. And I did that specific search because it brings up the exact template that you want, right? And you got a sneak peek at what it looks like when we're all done. But that's how you do step 1, right? So let's go back here and we'll take a look at the next step here. So I'll just go to the next one here. How to write a resume. Step 2, save the document. Go into File, Save As, and then choose Browse. From there, choose the location where you'd like to save your resume by clicking down along the left-hand side. I'm going to save it in G, and I'm going to call it Resume Example. I'll click Save. And then here I can leave the box checked or unchecked, OK. Now it's called a resume example, and I can save it whenever I'd like by clicking the icon. All right, so we'll go back here and we'll just open up the template that I started. So here I am. I go into File, Save As. I choose my location, and the automatic place where it will go, if you don't pick a place, as you can see, will be in your documents library. And that's fine as long as you know how to get to there. If you had a USB stick put in, you could even save it onto the USB. It would be in here somewhere. So I'll just call this, just like in the resume example, and save. And you might get this message, and that's in the next video. And I'll just click OK. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at what the next step is. So it's very important to save your work. Very important to save your work. All right, so let's look at the next video. How to write a resume. Step 3, view the grid lines. Go to the last tab along the top to change the layout. Click to select Layout. Now, click to view the grid lines. You can turn the grid lines on and off by clicking Keep them on. It's easier to type information. Grid lines do not show when you print, just when you type. Okay, so pretty easy, right? So we'll go back here. So what we want to do is we want to go into layout, right? So just to show you here, we started off up here at the top under home, okay? Um, and, um, and we want to go all the way over to the right, and we want to choose layout. Then after we've chosen layout along the top in blue here, you can see that we have some different options. And what we want to do is choose to view the grid lines. I'll click off of it again so you can see the difference. I'll click back on. So you can see that when I click it on, some lines appear. And those are just, think of them as imaginary lines that only show up for you to see. It makes it easier to enter the information because you can see how everything is separated. Because really a template is just a big chart that you fill in. That's all a template is. All right, let's continue on to the next step here.
How to write a resume, step 4, add a skills section. Start by pointing at the word objective, left click it. After you left click it, right click it to show more options. Choose insert, insert rows below. After that, go into design, borders, choose no border. Click on it. After you click on it, go back to the box. Click on the box. This puts the cursor in the right place. And then go into layout. From there, choose align center right. After you click on it, the box will highlight. Click on the box, then type in the word skills. Now you have a skills section.
All right, so we'll go back to our document here. So you just want to insert a row underneath objective, and you can see when you viewed the grid lines, in my opinion, it makes it a lot easier. So I've got my cursor here, see me moving it around. I just put it to the end of the word objective, and then I'm going to right click with my mouse, and I'm going to choose insert, insert rows below, okay, and then I go into along the top. You know what? I'm going to X this off so that, and I'm going to move this over. Okay. So that's selected. And I go into design and I go into borders and I choose no border. Okay, so why did I do that? And if you ever do something and you don't want, and you make a mistake, you can hit the undo button. That's not in my video, but you can hit this undo button along the top. Well, I don't know if you can see, but right now I have this line, this dark line underneath objective and underneath the words that would go beside the objective. So I want to get rid of that line. And so with this whole row selected here, what I'm doing is I'm getting rid of the top border. And the easiest way, right? So that line here, that's like a top border. And I want to get rid of that. So the easiest way to do it, like I showed in the video, is to go into borders and choose no border. Okay. Now that that's done, the line is gone. I mean, you can still see the dotted line because I'm still viewing the grid lines, but that solid dark black line is gone. Okay, now the last thing that I want to do, the reason for doing it is that I want all of the text to look the same, to be in the same position. So whether I have the title objective or the title experience or the title for skills, I want it to be positioned in the same place. So I'll take my cursor. You can see my cursor's flashing over here on the right, but I want it to the left here because that's where the word skills is going to be typed. Okay, so then what I want to do is I want to go into layout, okay, and then over here, Okay, second last sort of spot here. You can see, if you can see, maybe not, there's this word alignment. And I'm going to choose align center right. So right now, it might be difficult to see, but it's sort of highlighted, um, align bottom right, but that's not where I want it lined up. I want it center right. Okay, so I bring my cursor up until I see the word align center right, see those words, and then I left click. And then you'll see that that box gets highlighted, and all that did is it just showing me that it made that change for me, so that when I type in the word skills, it will be aligned in the way that I want it to be aligned. It will be positioned in the right place. So I click again until you can see my flashing cursor, and I'll type in the word skills. Okay. Now you might say, oh, what's the difference? You won't see it until I start filling it in, all right? But it will make a difference. It will make the whole resume look better. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the next step now. And I apologize if the videos aren't showing as nicely as they might have on YouTube. But I just wanted to show you that you could literally go to my YouTube channel and watch one video after another. The videos all together, all of them, if you watched all 9, it would only take you about 12 minutes to watch. So it's really quick. All right, so let's look at the next one here.
How to write a resume. Step 5. Start a bulleted list in the skills section. Put the cursor in the right place. Click on the box beside the skills heading. Click on the Home tab. This is the second tab in blue along the top. Find the icon with 3 dots, and then click on the small arrow beside it to see the options for bullets. Choose Document Bullets. This way, all of your bullets will be the same. Line up the bullet. It is best if all of the bullets start from the same place. So first, point at the bullet and left-click on it. It should be highlighted. You might have to click a few times. Then left-click again, hold, drag. So you want to move the bullet to the left until it lines up with the other bullets. Now you have started a list.
Okay, so that step just gets you ready. What we're doing right now in these first 8 steps is we're just preparing this resume to be filled in. In my opinion, it's easier to do it that way. All right, so right now I'm in the layout tab, but I want to be in the home tab. All right, second one along the top here. So I click on the word home. And then I go over to where this word paragraph is, and I find my 3 dots. But specifically, I want to click on this small arrow because I want to have some choices about the bullets that I'm going to use. Okay, bullets are used for lists. They're used when you do not have a full sentence. You just have a quick phrase to share with some information, right? Or maybe a word or 2 words or something like that. So I've clicked that small arrow, right? Again, small arrow, click on the small arrow. And I'm going to choose, right, document bullets here because I want, as I said in the video, all of the bullets to be the same. So I click on it. And you can see that the only problem here is that under experience here with these bullets, they're further to the left than this bullet, okay? And because we're adding this bullet point before any other bullets are added, the only way to move it to the left is to click on it and move it, okay? So what you do is you take your cursor and you move it so that it's over top of the bullet, so that instead of having this, I guess it looks like a big eye for the cursor, instead of the eye that I'm moving around in a circle right now, you end up with like a white arrow, and that white arrow will be pointing at the bullet point. Okay, so I move my cursor over until, oh, there we go. Okay, now once you have that white arrow, you're going to hold down the left mouse button on your mouse. So I hold it down, and then you're going to move it to the left. Okay, so here, I'll start again. Start again. So I get my white arrow, left click and hold. Okay, now you're not going to see anything until you start moving the mouse to the left. Okay, so right now, I am holding down the left mouse button while this arrow is pointing at my bullet. Okay, and now I'm going to move the mouse to the left, starting now. You see how that tiny line, that vertical line appears? That's showing me where my bullet's going to end up. I'm going to move it all as far as it'll go to the left, so the it lines up with the other bullets. And when it's lined up, I'm going to let go of that left mouse button, okay? And you'll see the bullet move. So I'm going to let go of the mouse button in 3, 2, 1. Oops. Okay, don't be afraid if it doesn't work the first time. Try again. Okay, left mouse, move, and release. That's very strange that it's not doing what I'd like it to do. There we go. Okay, I had to do it 3 times, but eventually it went. It will work. It will work. I've done this many times. So now you can see all the bullets are lined up. If you have any trouble with this step, it's okay. It's not the end of the world if your bullets aren't perfectly lined up. I just want to show you how you could do it, okay? I wouldn't take marks off for a bullet point not being perfectly lined up. That would be silly. Okay, next step. Let's take a look at the next step.
How to write a resume. Step 6, start a bulleted list in the interests section. First, you want to click on the words beside the heading to highlight them. So you can see here, beside the interests heading, I'm going to highlight the words that start with briefly. Now you must be in the Home tab, along the top, the second heading. And then you want to find the icon with 3 dots, and then click on the small arrow beside it. And then you want to choose Document Bullets. Remember to keep all of your bullets the same. Now you can see that there is a dot in front of the words. The last step is to line up the bullets. So you want all of the dots to be starting from the same place. So left click the dot so that it's highlighted, and then right click to see options. You're going to move your mouse up and then choose Join to Previous List. So left click Join to Previous List and then see the dot move.
Okay, so we'll go back. I'll show you exactly how to do that. So I'm scrolling down here, and here I am in my interests section, okay? So really easy. All you're doing is you're taking your cursor. Here's my cursor over here on the right to right of these words here. And you just want to move it over top of the words and then left click, okay? And then it gets darker like that, okay? I'm already in the Home tab, which is good. Okay, and I go over and I find my little symbol for bullets, and I find that tiny arrow right beside it, and I click on that tiny arrow and I choose Document Bullets. So same as the other one, it's just that when we line them up, it'll be a little bit different. So I click there, okay, and now what I want to do, it's already highlighted, but if it wasn't, no problem. I just click on it, right? See how I get my white arrow and I click on it, okay? And so I left click, right? I get my white arrow, I left click, okay, and then I can right click and I can choose to join to previous list. Okay, and watch what happens when I do that. Watch that bullet move, watch this bullet point move to the left. Okay, and the reason why I was able to do it this way with this one is because I had already had bullet points before this one. Okay, so in other words, there were already lists in this document before I added this list. So that's what they mean by join to previous list. So a previous list is a list that was made before this one that I just added. So when I joined it to the previous list, what I did is I took that bullet point and I lined it up with all of the other bullet points that were already there. Okay, next step here.
How to write a resume. Step 7, delete an extra slot in the experience section. There is room for 4 work experiences, but you only need 3 for the assignment. Get rid of 1 slot. You want a small black arrow. Move your cursor to the left. Wait for the small black arrow to appear. Tip: the cursor needs to be near the corner of the box. Now select the area that you want to delete. Click and hold the left mouse button while dragging across and down. Remember, don't lift your finger off of the mouse until you are done selecting what you want to delete. Let go of the left mouse button and then right-click to bring up more options. Move your mouse up, choose Delete Cells, left-click. A new dialog box will open. Click OK to shift cells left. This gets rid of them. Now you have just 3 slots for your work experiences.
Okay, so this goes back to the assignment requirements. And basically, you'll need an objective statement, you'll need to list 3 skills, at least 3 skills. I don't mind if you list 4 or 5, but don't list any more than 5 skills. Then you also need to list 3 experiences, but you can see here there's only room for 3 experiences. Sorry, there's room for 4 experiences, but you only need to list 3, right? You see 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're going to get rid of one of these spaces for a job experience because for this assignment, we only need to list 3. Okay, so here's my cursor, right? It's close to this word dates, and I'm going to move it to the left. Now, see that tiny black arrow that just appeared? That's what we want, okay? So, and why? So that we can select exactly what we want to select and then delete that, okay? So here's my cursor again. I'm going to go left, 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 black arrow, good, okay? Now that I have my black arrow, I'm going to left click and then hold it down and move to the right and down, okay? I'll do that one more time. Okay, so here's my cursor. I'm going to move it to the left, left, oh, black arrow. Okay, left click, right. I'm still holding the mouse key down and down. Okay, and I'm going to let it go now. And you'll see that this whole section here is selected, right? The, the part to the left and the part to the right. And this is what we want to get rid of. And these, if you're thinking about it, how this is a chart, this is actually just 2 rows, right? And on the first row, we've got some headings here, right, for our information. And then the next row, we have a spot to list responsibilities, okay? So it's selected now, and you see I've got this white arrow here. That's good, okay? Now I'm going to right click with my mouse. So I right click, right? And I get some options here, and I go up and I choose delete cells. And I hit OK. Okay, and watch what happens when I do that. That part will disappear. So OK, right? And now you can see that there's just 3 slots. 1, 2, 3. That 4th slot, we deleted that because we only need 3. Now, Microsoft Word will save automatically, but you can always hit save, right? And it'll save to that same location. In this case, I saved it to my documents. That was, what was that? Step 2. Okay, so let's go and look at the next step. And we're getting there. There's a few more things to do here, but we're getting there. Right, almost there. How to write a resume. Step 8, add space for 3 references. For the assignment, you need to list 3 references. You need to edit the template. Move the cursor to click the text. Once the words are highlighted, press either backspace or delete. Left-click the box again to highlight it, then right-click to see more options. Move the mouse down. Choose Split Cells. Left-click. A new dialog box will open. Click on the top arrow to set the number of columns to 3. Click OK. 1 column splits into 3. Point the cursor at the last box. Click on it. You want the cursor inside the last box. Hit the Tab key 5 times. You want 3 rows, 1 row for each reference. The Tab key is near the top left corner of the keyboard. Okay, so hopefully I made it obvious that you're hitting the tab key 5 times. I had probably too much fun making my videos, but that's okay. Okay, so here we are by my references section here. But like I said, you need to list 3 references for for assignment 27, right? So you've got, remember, you need to include your information. You need an objective statement. You need to list at least 3 skills. It's okay to list 4 or 5 if you want to, but no more than 5. You don't need any more than 5. But 3 skills would get you full marks, okay? 3 job experiences, right? You need to mention your education, even if right now you're just a student at WASA, you need to put that in. And in our example today, I'll show you how you could do that. I'll give you an example of how to do that. And you'll end up listing 3 interests. Or another option, instead of using the heading interests, you could have a heading community involvement. Let's say you have lots of volunteering experience. You could put community involvement in and then list 3 different um, volunteer experiences that you've had, right? It's whatever you want. I'm choosing to list 3 interests here just to show you that even if you don't have a lot of job experience or even experience volunteering, you can still figure out how to get this assignment done. And I recommend, like I said at the very beginning, I said that it was okay to make up information if you need to. In real life, you would never do that. But for assignment 27, it is okay to make up information. Um, but I recommend doing your best to get it as truthful as you can. All right. And then you hand it in. And, if you've made any information up, you can tell me. And I might have some suggestions for how maybe there's something that you haven't thought of for what you could fill in. For example, let's say that you list 3 interests, okay? Let's say that you list 3 interests, and then maybe you only have 2 job experiences where you were paid, but then you had 1 volunteer experience. You could have 2 job experiences where you were paid, and then you could list that one volunteer experience. Just make sure that you say that you were a volunteer when you explain your job title, right? Um, and then that would give you 3 experiences for your experience section if you wanted to do it that way. I just wanted to point that out. Okay, so we're getting the references section ready, right? Okay, so I've got my cursor here and I've moved it over. So that black arrow is pointing at my R, and I left click it, right? And I just want to, I'll just hit backspace. Oops, cancel. No, that's not quite what I want. Okay, that's not quite what I wanted. I just wanted to select this. So I just want to get rid of these words. References are available on request. That's all I want to do. So another way to do it is just to take your cursor and get it to the end of the word request and just hit backspace. You could even take your mouse and you could select just those words and hit backspace and you'd get rid of them all. Okay. Um, so now I've got my black arrow and I left click, right? And I'm going to then, so see how it's selected? And then I'm going to right click and choose split cells here. I want to take one row and split it into 3. This is what I'm doing, okay? So split cells, take my number of columns and change it to 3 and then hit OK. So I just took this arrow here, right? I could go down, right? It starts at 2 automatically, and I move that tiny arrow up, and I click OK. And now you can see, because I have the grid lines turned on, right? Those are imaginary lines to help guide us. You can see that I have 3 columns now. Okay, so then I take my cursor and I click on the very last one. See how my cursor's flashing in this last row? Sorry, column here. Columns go down, rows go across. But I have it flashing here. And this is where I want to hit the tab key. Remember from the video, the tab key is right beside the letter Q on your keyboard, right above the caps lock button. So I'm going to hit my tab key 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And so now I have space for 3 references. Okay. And now the resume is ready to be filled in. And just to show you really quick, let's say that you had done all these steps. on my website here, and it's even on YouTube, right? You could even watch it on YouTube if you wanted to too. Um, so let's say you'd done all the steps, and you'd gotten to step 9. Anybody that wasn't able to attend class today, you can see step 9, what we're going to do together in class, by watching this video. I don't see any reason to sort of show you the whole video. It's not very long. It's a couple seconds, under 5 minutes, I think, it's just under 5 minutes long. Um, so, it's really quick. We'll take a little longer just because I might explain a few things as we go along, but this last step that we're doing in class together, that's on my website as well. All right. And if anyone has any trouble accessing these resources, there's another option, which is to get a USB. You can get them on a USB. Of course, if you ask me for a USB, I'm going to send you all of my resources, right? You'll just need to know that you'll be looking for the write a resume part of my resources, and you'll go into it and you can see steps 1 to 9. Whether you want to watch a video or whether you just want to look at the notes that go with it, it's up to you. Whatever works best for you. All right, so I'm hoping that all of this will be helpful for you. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and start filling this in. And it's really easy to fill in. Whatever you want to fill in, you just click on it and you start typing it. So I'm going to put in address, phone, and email here. All right, so I just see how my cursor's over top here, and I just left click, and I'm going to start typing. So we have 5678 Orange Road, period, comma, space, Sioux Lookout. And this is a good example of how to properly write an address using commas. Sioux Lookout, comma, and I'm going to use the short form for Ontario, so ON. If you choose to use a short form, use it throughout your whole resume. I put a period because it's an abbreviation, it's a short form. And I just hit spacebar once, and I'm going to put my postal code in. So something important to notice about a postal code is two things. One, you have capital letters, right? Capital P8T, just one example of a postal code. And then what you want to do before you put the next 3 in is just hit the space bar. So you just have a space in between. So P8T1, capital B7, P8T1B7. Now, just to keep things simple here, I didn't want to make this chart here any more complicated than it needed to be. All I'm going to do is hit the spacebar 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to type in a fake email address here for this imaginary person, asmith@email.com. And watch what happens after I press the spacebar. See, if anyone could see this, it turns blue and it gets underlined. What's cool about this is somebody that gets your resume is that they will be able to click on it, and if they have an emailing program set up on their computer, it will automatically open that program, and then they could email you to say, hey, would you like to come in for an interview, right? So this makes it really convenient for a potential employer to contact you by email. Okay, so I've already hit the space bar once, so I'll hit it 4 more times. 2, 3, 4, and I'll put in the phone number. It's just made up here, and so I'm just putting zeros in. You make sure that you have your area code there. I recommend putting the area code in brackets. I think it looks better. Technically, you don't have to put it in brackets. You could just have the 807 without the brackets around it if you wanted to. So 000, 0000. Obviously, you'd fill in, your actual numbers there. All right. And then I keep going, click on the spot for name, and I'll type in this person's name, Andrea Smith, loosely based off of myself, I suppose, in a roundabout way. All right, and then I click on the words beside objective. And an objective statement is where you have a short statement explaining the type of work that you're looking for. And so I'll just type in an example here for you. I am seeking a part-time customer service or community service position, right? So that didn't take very long. Just a few little notes here. You notice how I specifically wrote part-time, all right? And if you only wanted part-time work, I know a lot of people these days have multiple part-time jobs. So this is a good opportunity in your objective statement to let potential employers know that you're specifically looking for part-time work. If you do not say that you're looking for part-time work, they'll assume that you'll either take part-time or full-time, right? And just, you know, if you can only do part-time work, if you're only available for part-time work, it's really nice of you to let potential employers know by putting that in your objective statement. Okay, so just so that to give you one extra example, I'm going to list 4 skills, but again, for the assignment, you don't have to list 4. You can just list 3. Working with, so here's my first skill, and working with and motivating others. That's a skill. And then what's cool about a bulleted list, as long as you've set it up, all you need to do when you've written one thing is you hit your enter key. So I'm going to hit enter. And you see how the next one appears automatically. Then I choose, then I keep going, managing time effectively, and then I hit enter again, and then writing documents, enter, using a computer, right? Okay, and something that I recommend doing is just you want to leave some space in between each section. You want to make sure that your resume is nice to look at. So I'm just going to I'm going to go up to my W. Okay, so here it was here after computer. I'm going to move my cursor up to where the W is, click on it, and I'm going to hit enter. Okay, and I'm just gonna, that I click up above the word working, and then I'm gonna hit the backspace key. All I'm doing there is now there's a little bit more space in between objective and skills here, and that'll just look nicer when it's all done. Okay, so now I can start filling in experiences. Okay, so you just click and type. So just for this example, we have May 2014 to present, and company name, say the Life Saving Society. And this will depend on you, right? What are your experiences? And we'll say that this is in Dryden, Ontario. Oop. And if you make a spelling error, just go back and correct it. Okay, so I just moved my mouse to wherever I needed the correction done, and I just hit backspace for anyone that's wondering how I did that. Okay, under job title for this example, I'm just going to put swim instructor. Backspace. Okay, now you can use bullet points. They're all set up, or what you can do if you want to do this is you can choose not to use bullet points. All right, so I'm just going to go to the end of this last one here. See if I can do that. It's kind of being, and I'll just hit backspace, 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 right? Until I just have one, okay? And then I'm going to point my mouse at this one and a left click. And actually, I think what I want to do here, yes, I'm just going to backspace and backspace again. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I want to move this to the right a little bit, okay? So I'm going to increase my indent, right? See how I did that? Okay, I'll hit the undo button, and I'll just start from the beginning because I think that my my demonstration here could have been better. Okay, so here I am, I just finished filling out swim instructor, and I'm going to left click on the last one and hit backspace, 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 backspace. Right, backspace. Okay, until I got rid of that last dot. And then where this word paragraph is, I find this little arrow thing. and I increase the indent. So you see how my cursor is under and in between the W and the I for swim instructor? I want to move it over to the right. I just want my job description to stand out a little bit more. So I'm indenting it a little bit further, just so that people know that there's a difference between my job description and my bullet points. Again, if you don't understand this step, don't worry about it. So I'll just increase my indent. I think that this looks nice, okay? And I type it out now. I plan. So you could have bullet points where you just have short words or phrases to explain. But here I'm writing a full sentence for each one. I plan lessons and I teach swimming skills and safety to young children, right? And then I continue along with my next one, right? So we'll go with April, and I'm using short forms, right? April 13th, 2013, April 2013 to April 2014. And for this one, we'll say Purple Clothing Company. Okay, and this time we'll say, and this is all made up, obviously, right? Sioux Lookout, Ontario, because there isn't really a purple clothing company here. Okay, and job title, sales associate. And we're going to get rid of these. I'm just going to make a full sentence, one full sentence. So delete, 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 delete. Increase indent. And I type it in. I assisted. Why is it in past tense? Because the first one that I listed, the swim instructor, this person is still doing that job now. But when it's a job that somebody had in the past, you want to use the past tense to describe it. I assisted customers, completed purchases, and organized the storage room. Okay. All right. Next one, January 2012 to April 2013. And I use short forms for anyone listening. We'll call this the Pink News Company. And we'll say that that's in Sioux Lookout as well. Okay. And this job title is going to be a part-time editor. It's all made up. I'll get rid of these bullet points. Delete, 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 delete. Increase my indent. Type in my sentence. I edited. Again, a job from the past. Use the past tense. I edited a variety of articles before they were published. I'm just going to speed up here, and I might miss a few points, but I'm just going to go pretty quickly through these last steps just to make sure that we don't run out of time today, okay? So education section. We put in the dates, September 2015 to present, okay? And this is where you could put in your WASA Distance Education Center, right? And then again, this is, you want to look for the hub, right? So Sioux Lookout, Ontario, okay? And this is where, if you're still working on it, you can say that by saying something like this, completing, right? So it's not done yet, completing my Ontario secondary school diploma, right? And in brackets, you can put OSSD. That's just the acronym for it if you want to. All right. And you can also put in your anticipated completion date. Oops. And anticipated completion date. And just say maybe it's this year, June 2017. And then you want to list again at least 3 interests. So how about these? For example, right? Teaching and coaching children, enter. Volunteering, that could be an interest. And you could put in brackets where. So for example, white community center in Sioux Lookout. I'm just putting brackets in between. Sorry, commas. White Community Center, comma, Sioux Lookout, comma, Ontario, period. Okay, and end my brackets. Okay, and maybe another comma might be public speaking. And you could, oops, I could spell speaking correctly. And you could put where. Um, Now there is a Toastmasters in Sioux Lookout, but in my video I put Dryden, Ontario, so just so that it matches, I'm putting it in Dryden, Ontario. Okay, and I go up to the top of where my T is and I press enter, and then I delete that, so now I have some space there. Okay, and then I just put in my my references. Okay, so I'm just going to keep filling them in. So you put the person's name, you put their job title. So I have Ronald Summer as being a manager at the Life Saving Pool. Okay, and you want to put the references in the order, the same order as your jobs are listed. So I put in a phone number, right, and then a fake email. Okay, so to make sure that we don't run out of time here, all right, I'm just going to show you what it would look like when all of these references are filled in. And the only thing that you would want to do is that you'd want to go up to Manager here, all right, and you'd want to hit Enter, okay, so that you have space, all right. So let's say that we had another manager here on the second one, right? And then we had a place, right? I'll just start typing it in. Then you go up to this M and hit enter again, all right? So that you would have space after all of them, all right? Um, all right? Um, so that you have space after all of them, okay? And now the only other thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that all of this is going to fit onto one page, okay? So I'm going to click on here, okay? And I'm going to go into layout, all right? And I'm going to go into margins, and I'm going to choose narrow, okay? Margins, narrow. There we go. Okay. And when you do that, you should notice a few things. One, all of the words fit onto one line. It looks very nice, all right? And everything is there, okay? Now, I'll just show you what it would look like in the end. I'll open up my final example here, okay? And then these grid lines, you you don't have to view them. If I click on it, this is what it'll look like when it prints out, right? The view lines, the grid lines will not appear when you're printing. Okay, so I'll just click them back on here. But you can see here the references section looks really nice. There's plenty of space in between because again I hit enter, right? And everything also fits onto one page because I changed the margins at the end there. Okay, so I mean, it's not, you know what, if you go over one page and you need more than one page for your resume, it's not the end of the world. The reason why I wanted to show that to you is so that you would know how to, you know, if you really wanted to fit it onto one page. I mean, maybe in real life you're writing a resume and you want it and you know that it'll fit onto one page, and all you need to do that is to change the margins a little bit. Then you'll know how to do that because I've shown you how to do that, right? And again, if you're not sure, you're looking at layout, right? So you would have all of this selected, right? Right, say I was already in the home tab. So you go into the layout, so you go into this layout tab, right? In between design and references, the first layout, and then you choose margins with this arrow, and then you would choose narrow, but it's already chosen, right? And then that just makes more room for everything. Everything will fit onto one page this way. Okay, so that's an easy way to add more space on. Okay, so again, remember, check out my write a resume section on my computer. If you can't use the internet, ask me for a USB with resources and get this section from that folder in the USB. All right. Again, I hope this is helpful. Thank you to everybody who was listening. Next class will be our last class. We'll go through the practice test. All right. Thanks everyone and have a great night.